let us look at the fundamentals or the basics of these one-dimensional array. So in the last video, we have seen what arrays are and why do I need arrays. So we have summarized that this array is a collection of data which are of similar size or similar type in nature. So when I wish to declare array, what should the formal syntax which I am supposed to carry out? This is the formal syntax which I am supposed to carry out. So a data type has to be specified, followed by the identifier and then the size. So what should be the data type? A data type has to be of type integer, float, char or double. Even you can add up the data modifier like signed or unsigned or long with this particular identifier. So I can use a data type along with the modifier, identifier and then size. So here I have said int a of 10, float b of 50. What this declaration means? The first declaration says that this a is a collection of 10 integer values. This b is said to be a collection of 50 float values. Suppose if I put a declaration as char c of 100. What this means? This says that C is a collection of 100 characters. If I say double P of 10, this says that P is a collection of 10 double values. Now question comes, when I declare identifier, our identifier will have some size. What will be the size of these variables? So size of an array, I'll put at this place, size of array equals to, how do I calculate the size? It is size which is associated with the array multiplied by the number of bytes used to store one data. So here I have a 10 as a size, 10 multiplied by number of bytes used to store one data. For one integer I need 2 bytes. So 10 into 2 is 20. The number which I am going to write in brackets indicates the size of that particular array. Float b of 50. So 50 is the size multiplied by number of bytes used to store one data. For one float data I need 4 bytes. So it means that this size is going to be 200 bytes. When I say char c of 100. So 100 multiplied by char is 1. So 100 multiplied by 1 is 100 bytes. 10 multiplied by 8, double indicates 8 bytes for one data. So I have 10. So this is going to occupy 80 bytes of data. The number which I have written in brackets indicates the size in bytes. Right? So it means that a size of an array is equals to, how do you calculate the size of array? A size of array is always equals to size multiplied by number of bytes required to store one data. Now, what if I have a static storage class or auto storage class? Obviously, depending upon that, the size still remains same. The only thing is that initial values might change. When I have a default array as of type, say, auto or automatic or local, they will have garbage values. When I have an array which is of type static, that will have initial values as 0. When I have an array declared as global, that will again have a value as 0. The initial value might change with the storage class, but not the memory size, right? Okay, now how exactly the memory allocation goes internally? When I say int a of say 5, how exactly this particular memory allocation goes? Will this memory be scattered? No, the memory is always sequential. Suppose if I have a set of values, it will identify 5 free locations. 5 free location, each location capable of handling one data. I have 5 data. So each location capable of handling how many data? One data. So each location will be of 2 bytes. 2 bytes plus 2 bytes 4, 4 plus 2 6, 6 plus 2 8, 8 plus 2 10 bytes will be allocated to say. This entire set of memory is held as A. This entire block of memory is known as A. But as per the rules of computers, no two memory variables can have same name if they are declared in a single function. If they are in a separate function, two variables can share same name. But if they are in a single function, you can't have two variables with same name. So for that, what I need to do? I need to associate a different name for each of these data. So for that, what I'll do is, I'll declare the first one as A of 0. Second as A of 1. As per the rules of arrays, the first will always have an index called as 0. The one which I am writing in square bracket indicates the index. A of 2, A of 3, A of 4. So if I have n datas in arrays, the first data will always have a size called as index as 0 and the last will have an index as n minus 1. So here n is 5, so starts with 0, end up at 4. But you can't associate this size as a variable. Remember, that is one of the important rules of an array. Can I have a size as a variable? No, size had to be always an integer constant. So I'll have A of 0, A of 1, A of 2, A of 3, A of 4. So I call this as an index. An index of an array always starts with 0. Remember this till the completion of the arrays. Irrespective of the dimensions, irrespective of the order of the array, your array index will always start with 0. Okay, now it means that I have 5 different locations and in every location I am supposed to store one value. How to store these values? You might wonder that should I write again scanf percentage d comma ampersand of f0, scanf percentage d comma ampersand of f1? No. Why don't we summarize this with a common index? Can I summarize this as a of I and take this I from what to what? 0 to 4 for n as what? 5. If I had to read 10 numbers, in that case I have to take I from 0 to 9. In general, if I ask you to read n numbers, I have to start with the index called as 0 and take the index till n minus 1, which is shown in the next part. How to read the elements of an array? The elements of an array can be read in this fashion. So I have written a for loop for I equals to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, scanf percentage d comma ampersand of a of I. It means that I am asking you to read these values into an array starting from 0 till n. Is it till n? No. If you observe carefully, it is written as less than n. Less than indicates that it has to go till n minus 1. Or you can write this particular for loop in one more fashion. If someone is comfortable with this particular syntax for I equals to 0, I less than equals to n minus 1, I plus plus. And then again a scanf instruction of this sort, scanf percentage d comma ampersand of a of I. So here I am taking the value from 0 till n minus 1 and I am using a condition called as less than equals to. Always remember, if a for loop has a condition called as less than equals to, it means that it will be n minus 1. And if a for loop has got less than in the condition, in that case it will be always less than n. Right? Okay. So it means that now we are comfortable with the declaration concept, the calculation of size, and how exactly the memory goes internally. And from this particular memory location, we got to know that it is sequential, hence I can use index as I and then I can change this. During this particular discussion, I said that this size which I have specified has to be always a constant. But as far as mine's and your knowledge goes, I is not a constant, I is a variable. It means that this array can be associated with an index called as I in the program, not in the declaration. When it comes to the declaration, your square bracket should be always a constant. Clear? So declaration constant, whereas in the program it can be a constant or it can be a variable. So when I wish to refer to index, I can use I as a simple variable which is used to refer to the index. You can set I as a 10 and you can say a of I. So I can use this particular part. Now what if I ask you to display the elements? Same concept, the same for loop. You can say from 0 less than n or 0 less than equal to n minus 1 the for loop. Instead of scanf, I'll say printf. It will print a of 0 first, then a of 1, then a of 2, then a of 3, then a of 4 and so on till a of n minus 1. So the first few fundamentals which we dealt in these arrays are declaration, memory allocation, how do I read values, how do I display values, right? So now moving on to the next set of fundamentals which will help us to understand the programming concepts much more better is how do I modify an array element? How do I modify these array elements? Let's understand this particular modification. Now when I say modification again I'll subdivide into 3 parts. The first part is, can I modify only one element of the array? Yes, you can modify one element of the array. So whenever I wish to refer to the element, I can refer directly the index a of 2 equals to a of 2 plus 1. What this says? This says that the third element of the array, wait, am I speaking true? Third element, yes. When I say 2, the index starts with 0, it means that 2 is actually a third element. So a of 2, that is the third element, is added with 1 and the result is stored back to third. This is how we modify a single element. So when we wish to now modify an entire array, how to modify an entire array? So let's deal with the second part of this particular entire array. Suppose if I have a set of elements in an array, assume that I have an array with say 5 elements, say 1, 5, 7, 9 and 11. If I have these elements, if I ask you to modify all these elements, I wish to add 1 to every element. So let this 1 be changed to 2, 5 be changed to 6, 7 be changed to 8, 9 be changed to 10, 11 be changed to 12. When I wish to change every element of the array, how to do this? In that case, what I can do is, I can use a simple for loop. I'll go from 0 to n and I'll change every element. So when I substitute I as 0, a of 0 equals to a of 0 plus 1. When I substitute I as 1, a of 1 equals to a of 1 plus 1. So here, I'm not modifying all the elements, I'm modifying a single element. And here, I'm modifying all the elements of the array. What if I have to modify some selected elements of the array? So whenever I wish to modify the selected elements of the array, in that case I can use these concepts. Within a for loop, I can use a simple condition. What if I say that every odd number should be converted to an even value. So or every even number has to be converted to an odd value. So I'll test this as odd, a of I mod 2 equal to 0. If this is true, I'll say a of I equals to a of I plus 1. Now let's check this, whether it will work on this array or not. The first element, okay, as such in this case all are odd elements. So none of them will go into conversion. Let me take one element as even 8 and let me say this as say 18. So now a of 0 is 1, 1 mod 2 equal to 0, no in the sense, let me keep this as it is. 5 mod 2 equal to 0, no, let me keep as it is. 8 mod 2 equal to 0, true. So these elements were unaltered. 8 is now modified to 9 because this will work when the previous condition true. Go back, 18 mod 2 equal to 0, true in the sense, again modified to 19. Go back, 11 mod 2 equal to 0, false in sense, don't do any operation. So don't you feel that I have converted an entire array to an odd array? So you can modify some selected elements, you can modify all the elements, or you can modify only one element of the array. Depending upon that, you're going to use a for, you're going to use a if, you're going to use the for with all the values for modifying all the values. Okay, now, is that modification necessary for all the applications? Yes. Once the data is read, once I say it has to processing is nothing but modification. Depending upon the need of application, you can use one of these modification techniques. What if you want to avoid reading the array and I want to accept values of the variables from the program itself? We call this as initialization. Rather than accepting values from the user or one who is going to see our program, if I say that I have to set the values in the declaration itself, yes, array initialization is also possible. But condition says that this initialization has to be done only in the declaration, not after the declaration. Since when I say int a of 5, so this a of 5 can be initialized with these values 12, 4, 6, 3, 1. It means that a of 0 will go 12, a of 1 will go 4, a of 2 with 6, a of 3 with 3, a of 4 with 1. I can declare and simultaneously assign these values. Now, if you feel that you are just going to allocate values but let the size be decided by the compiler, yes, you can do that. So int a, empty square brackets, and I can give values. Depending upon the number of values which are there in the bracket, how many values are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 values. So the compiler will automatically decide the size as 9. But trying out this is an error. Suppose if I say int a, empty square bracket and a semicolon. This is an error. Why this instruction leads to an error? The square bracket size can be optional only if the array is initialized. Here I have a declared and initialized, hence the square bracket is optional. But if you only declare, size is not optional. You have to compulsorily give size. Even trying this is an error. Int a of say 5, semicolon, and say a equals to curly bracket 11, 12, 7, 9, 8. Again, this is an error, because array initialization is permitted only in the declaration, not after the declaration. Clear that? These are some of the fundamentals of arrays which you are supposed to be comfortable before we start with the programming aspects. I advise you to personally go through all these stuffs one more time before you start looking at the programs, because once you understand how exactly the values are read, modified, displayed or initialized, then only the programming concepts will be much more easy, right? So go through all these stuffs one more time before you look at the programs. Thank you.